接下来就是我们刘谦与大卫考柏菲的世纪魔术对谈，所以我们现在欢迎刘谦老师。你好，问个好吗？
大家好，那个你把它讲得像孔子一样，刚才有点感动。接下来要出来这个全世界的魔术师，唯一一个出来会让我紧张的，我好紧张
紧张，对
啊。
那老师你来欢迎他好吗
？Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only, the greatest magician in the history, Mr. David Copperfield.
Thank you so much. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi David. Wow.
Hi David.
I have a candy in my eye. I don't know what to do with it. It's really weird.
Maybe you can ask David Bland. No, just kidding. Okay.
Different David.
And Tony is our translator. Tony, you can say hi.
好，大家好。
OK， 那我是今天的主持人简子，我先来主导一下。主要是当年那个大卫考柏菲先生来过台湾嘛，然后表演他的魔术，然后他这个时候颁奖给了刘谦老师，他还记得这个过往吗？还是他可以说一下这件事情
So Mr. Copperfield, do you remember presenting an award to Mr. Liu Qian when you were in Taiwan many years ago?
1000%. It's ingrained in my memory forever.
1000%记得啊，永远烙印在心中。
真的吗？有点怀疑耶。
Really? We are doubtful.
I have pictures to prove it.
还有照片可以为证哦。
Not on me, but in the internet.
对，网上有很多这个照片。对。
I even remember the magic he did as a 12-year-old. Would you like me to tell you about it?
Wait.
考柏菲先生甚至还记得刘谦12岁的时候表演的魔术。
OK, wait a minute. 一开始我没有跟他 read 过这段。我想下一个故意陷阱题就要问他说，因为我猜他2000%回答记得，官方也会这样回答。反正我一般人不会深问，今天是魔术大会，我就问他，那你记得什么吗？他居然就预判了我的预判。你先跟他讲一下。
Okay, so we didn't rehearse this part because, I mean, we knew that we are going to ask you if you remember what trick Mr. Liu Qian performed, and 1000% or 2000% you will give us an official answer and say, yeah, of course you remember. But when we press you further and ask you exactly what did he do, it was supposed to be like a trick question, but you seem to predict what we are going to ask. So do you really remember what he performed?
I do.
I don't believe.
Well, it's true.
Really?
He produced money.
所以无中生有的把钱变出来。
And he did the color changing cane.
还有会变颜色的魔法棒。
And I remember because I also did the color changing cane when I was 12 years old too.
所以他特别印象深刻，是因为他在12岁的时候也表演过一样的魔术。
But I didn't. When I was 12, I didn't produce money. I spent my parents' money.
但是考柏菲先生12岁的时候没有厉害到可以把钱变出来哦，只有把爸妈的钱变不见。
There you go. How can you forget that?
所以这个怎么会忘得了呢？
那请我们刘谦老师这个回应一下，是的吗？是这样的吗？我不知道。
对，对，这个我觉得是每一个魔术师必经的过程吧。我觉得就是早期的时候，通常都是会把父母的钱变不见，然后换成魔术道具。对，我觉得这个应该
Translate, please.
Yeah, so I think this is a rite of passage or something that every magician will have to go through in their childhood. You have to turn your parents' money into your magical props. So you spend your parents' money and spend them on your props.
Now you spend it on decks of cards and candy coming out of your eye. So that's what you do. It's different.
那现在还可以花钱在可以从眼睛跑出来的糖果，还有我们的这个扑克牌上面。
It was different back then. Go ahead. Can I say something? May I say something?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, I just want to know that even then I knew when he was the changing of the colors canes and the producing the money, I knew he would achieve legendary status. I predicted it, and it has come true.
那早在那个时候刘谦大师他把这个钱变出来啊，然后还有这个魔法棒变色的时候，大卫考柏菲先生就已经预测了刘谦总有一天一定会变成一个传奇级的这个魔法大师。那真的他当初的这个预测也是成真了。
And I must say that we're kidding around a little bit. We're joking around, right? But honestly, I'm very proud to have been one of the starting points of this amazing journey that Liu Qian has. I'm very proud of this.
那刚刚我们当然是有一点开玩笑的成分但是现在把玩笑放一边，我们说认真的大卫考柏菲先生是真的非常荣幸可以参与在 刘谦老师他的启蒙过程当中扮演一个这么重要的角色。
那么接下来呢，小弟我因为现在太多神在场了，我先退场，交给我们刘谦老师来 handle， 可以吗
？OK， 好，那是这样子，因为你翻译给大卫听哈，就是因为这个访问之前呢，那简子呢在网上就是征求大家的想要问大卫的问题，然后从几百个几千个问题里面挑选出6个问题想要问他，然后呢现在问题的单子在我手上，但是我自己也有一些问题想要问他，所以我自己的问题放在后面，如果有时间的话我再问。那现在先把这个网络上大家想要问他的问题，我先把它问出来。
So before the show, Hansen actually compiled over thousands of questions online and narrowed it down to 6 very important questions that we would like to take this opportunity to ask Mr. Copperfield. And Mr. Liu Qian also has a list of his own questions. And if we have time at the end, he may also add those questions at the end.
Amen.
我先说一下，因为我有几个这个朋友然后就是魔术师的朋友，然后我们在昨天晚上在聊天喝2杯的时候，有聊到这个问题，就是说如果有一天大卫考伯夫会出现在你面前，你会有什么问题想要问他？然后他们就给了我一些意见然后所以我的问题会比较尖锐，所以希望有时间可以问。Okay.
So the questions are actually from Mr. Liu Qian's friends. Last night when he was getting together with his friends and having a few drinks, they were just chatting and saying, say if one day Mr. David Copperfield magically appeared in front of your eyes, what questions would you like to ask him? So these are the questions that I got from my friends. And I have to say, because my friends, they are all magicians as well. So these questions may be a little bit sharp. So hopefully we will have some time towards the end to ask these questions.
So the first questions, 讲中文那个第一个问题就是从网上的这个来的就是第一个就是说在这个世界上这个大卫已经到达了这个魔术的顶端了，到了这个地位之后呢，他还有没有什么想要追求的东西？等一下，还有，然后再回头看看呢，我们这些后辈缺乏了什么东西
Okay, so the first question, which is from the list, Mr. Copperfield, I think it's fair to say that you have achieved a status that's essentially the pinnacle or the zenith in the world of magic. So is there anything that you're still pursuing or chasing after? And what suggestions would you give to younger magicians who are trying to emulate you? What do you think they lack? What do you think they need?
Well, that's 2 questions. What's the first half of that question? The first half was what?
So is there anything that you're still going after? What are you still pursuing?
I mean, I think what we are doing is trying to move the art forward. Everybody that has accomplished a lot of stuff always finds a new way of doing it, searches for a new way. Walt Disney was an amazing animator, right? But he knew that animation was one thing, so he made animation with animatronics or did feature films and provided that point of view in other areas. Robert Houdin did so much in 12 years, but he went away from magic totally. He made beautiful optical equipment, beautiful. Chris, can you get there's a big thermostat, long thing on the things, a long thermostat. It's where you, by the Méliès stuff. He did optical things and took his intelligence, did that. I'm the type of person to stay in magic and find new ways of doing it. I was very flattered when Liu Qian came to the show and saw the alien and the spaceship. And he said, Liu Qian really understands it. He understands what I was doing. Other magicians went, no, that's bad, and I don't understand it. And I was still working on it. But Liu understood what I was going for, trying to change things in a certain way. So all the artists I admire keep moving their art forward in their own way, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to inspire people. I don't have to do the same sexy dancing number I had to move it forward. So I'm constantly trying to change it in my own way. That's my answer so far. And this shows you just right now is very heavy. This is
But we really miss your sexy dancing. Really.
But you see this Robert Houdin thing? It's not a magic trick, but he used his point of view to tell, temperature and stuff. That's heavy. Oh my God. Wow. That's an example of what he did. Houdin moved away from magic. Wow. I love magic. So how do I use magic to tell a different kind of story, to tell a story in a different way? Or, I'm going to do things about our world, about our climate, and things that are necessary to kind of inspire and move the art forward.
所以其实我现在想要做的就是持续的让魔术这一个艺术可以往前走，因为一直以来有非常多的前人已经有了非常多的成就，可是我们还是可以站在这些巨人的肩膀上，持续找到新的方式 来做出新的效果。所以举例来说好了，我们看到历史上很多的伟人，不仅是在魔术界，像迪士尼，华特迪士尼，他当然就是迪士尼的创办人嘛，他一开始其实就是一个很厉害的动画师，可是他当初就有看到动画绝对不是只是画东西这么简单而已，你还可以做出很多不同的发想，你可以做出玩偶这种会动的玩偶，你可以做成长片等等。那另外还有像是 Robert Houdin 这一个，他也是魔术界里面非常经典的一个人物哦，他其实离开了魔术界之后呢，有12年的期间，他不仅是做了魔术，他也把他的应用，他把他在魔术上的这些技能呢应用在其他的东西上。所以像刚刚我们看到的这一个温度计，其实这已经不是魔术了，他就是把他魔术所学应用在其他的领域上面。所以像我们遇到像刘谦大师这样子的魔术我们的魔术师的时候，真的就是我们看到表演有这么多不同的想法，像有时候讲到外星人或是太空船，有一些人可能会觉得这太天马行空了吧。可是当初考柏菲先生觉得刘谦就是懂他，非常的了解，我们就是要不停的改变，不停的创新。那我们现在能够做的就是持续的去激发，去启发下一代，让他们可以有不同的方法来叙述不同的故事，然后在我们现在的这个世界，在我们的环境当中持续找到新的方式来呈现新的表演。
So, and the second question, so to me, I'll give a short answer here. It's about how do we use what we do, all of us, to inspire people, to give them another point of view. We know we love getting a reaction. All of us love getting a reaction. Getting that same reaction, get people to like us and stuff. Okay, now you've done that. How do you inspire them? How do you get them to think about things differently? How do you maybe look at the problems in the world and give another perspective to that problems of the world? So you make a mark. That's what's next for me, and that's what I'm doing.
好，那下一题我们就比较简短的回答好了。我们可以给新一代的这个魔术师有什么样子的建议呢？其实我们现在在做的就是希望可以持续的激励他们，启发他们，用不同的观点、不同的视角去看事情。所以我们身为魔术师，其实很多时候我们就是喜欢看到观众的反应嘛，希望观众喜欢我们的表演。可是除了喜欢，除了他们喜欢享受这个表演之外，是不是除此之外还可以多一层的思考，让他们用不同角度去看世界，去看世界上面临的一些问题，然后可不可以想出一些不同的解决方法等等。
What was the second part of the question? There was two parts of it.
Yeah, so the second part is about how we inspire the younger generation of magicians, and what do you think they lack?
I wouldn't start out by saying what do they lack. I would say how to expand what they're doing. Obviously, so much of the magic that is being done on the street, one-to-one with people, that whole world of things, I think is wonderful. I think it's great. And it works because you don't need all the David Copperfield or Lu Chen stuff, you know what I'm saying? It has a very basic form that people really relate to. So how do you make something out of that? How do you move that forward? What are you trying to say? What is the core value of what you're trying to say? That's my secret. My secret is all this big stuff I did always had a real essence of meaning, or something that I was trying to say, or something I wanted them to feel. That's in the big scale. Even the small scale was always something, finding a source of what I wanted the audience to feel or think about. And I think the people who are making that work, who are the best at today's kind of magic, are doing that. They're finding that, maybe accidentally, I'm not sure they thought about it, accidentally they're understanding that relationship with the audience. And, when I do things of that nature, which I do one-on-one kind of magic, I do stuff that is low-tech or sleight of handy kind of things, I've really tried to find the purpose for it, trying to find what's the reason to do it? What is the reason to do that, As magicians, I don't know if you know back to my beginnings, but, I did a whole bunch of things that had a different style to them. And then people started copying that style. People started doing it, they started doing the exact same thing. And I had to think, I can't look like a copy of myself and just copy the same thing again, So I had to find a new way. And it took me a while to find new ways of doing it. It took me a while because I felt beaten by being copied, but now I'm very inspired and I'm working on things that are really amazingly good, and I'm very proud of where we're going.
第二部分的问题讲到说，可以给年轻一代的魔术师觉得他们缺乏什么，有什么建议哦？那其实不一定是说缺乏什么，因为现在有很多魔术师，不管是在表演街头魔术，或是1对1的这种近距离的魔术的时候，其实这些都是非常棒的表演，非常基本功，非常棒的表演。那其实我们不一定是说一定要非常的有名，然后站在大舞台上表演的时候才可以带来影响力。即便是这种街头表演或者是1对1的魔术，其实我们都是可以想办法拉近观众跟我们之间的距离。我们怎么样去推进我们的艺术？我们想要透过我们的表演表达什么样的讯息？我们的核心的 内容到底是什么。所以像考柏菲先生，他认为自己的秘诀、自己的秘密，就是在于说，在他的每一个表演当中，不管是大是小，每一个表演背后都有一个讯息，都是想要去传达一个概念，想要让观众可以感受到，可以去思考一些问题。所以像现在其实最厉害的魔术师应该都是有这样子的，他的表演背后一定都是有一些讯息的。那就算你的表演是声光效果很多，还是这种比较低技术成本的，其实都一样，我们都是要去思考表演背后的讯息是什么。那像考柏菲先生他自己当初一开始在表演的时候也是一样，他本来有一个自己的风格，但后来他发现别人会开始模仿他的风格，那自己的风格被模仿之后，你要再去模仿别人，模仿自己的风格吗？这样模仿下去到底尽头在哪里？所以与其这样，不如去想出一个新的方法，一个新的一条道路，那就是你要一直都是非常的激励自己，然后要有灵感，然后用这些灵感再去进一步的启发他人，这才是每一个魔术表演背后最重要的。
I hope you're making me sound intelligent.
I try my best.
You're an amazing translator. Amazing.
Is it doing
Almost word by word,
Okay.
by word. Almost.
So here's the thing. I would say this into the short part of this. No matter what magic you're doing, no matter what, I would say to ask yourself, what do you want the audience to feel? What do you want to feel? And what do you want the audience to remember and take away from that moment?
那最后再简洁一下刚刚的这个回答，其实说到最后重点就是我们在表演的时候，我们希望观众他得到的感受是什么？那我们自己身为表演者，我们自己的感受是什么？还有我们希望表演结束之后，我们的观众离开了，他们记得的是什么？
And it sounds like, okay, all right, I can do that. I'm serious. It's like really a big deal to really think about that,It's not like, okay, I want them to feel happy. No, just really think what's the core of it all? What's the meaning of it? What are you trying to do? And it'll change everything if you really take it seriously. I mean, I do. It's my real thing.
那我知道我这样讲，大家可能听着就想说，哦，好啊，我就是让我的观众觉得看了很开心啊。可是我说的感受不是只是这样，要真的很深一层的去思考，你希望他们感受到什么，在核心的深处，你想要带来什么样子的改变？这也是我在我的每一次表演当中会做的。
And all these people here in this room, all these great, magicians of the past, right? They weren't always that great, but the moments they were great, they asked that question. They found it. Maybe accidentally. Could be accident. They maybe didn't think about it. Why? But they did do it. When it worked, it's because, name a great magician, and there was something that they got right. They got something right, Ricciardi, he didn't understand how to talk very well. He wasn't a great inventor, but he was a great performer. Great. I think it was maybe accidental that he was that great. Maybe accidental. But when he did that, it's like, whoa, the audience was, oh my God, this amazing thing, Did you want to go home and have dinner with him? Probably not. Did you want to hang out or, like that? Probably not. But the performer, that one thing was maybe the best of that, maybe accidental, but he figured it out. And I think it was maybe accidental. He found what worked for him. Channing Pollock, just maybe accidentally. This is a guy I knew. He was just so handsome, and his manipulation was great. I think maybe accidentally found this out. He didn't keep going with it, but he found this one thing that just was like, oh, everyone, oh my God.
所以我们看到，其实在这个博物馆里面有这么多有名的魔术师哦，所以这些魔术师也不是说一直以来都非常的伟大，好像一出来就成名就轰动万教，其实也不是，他们的生涯一定也都是有起起伏伏。那你去看他们生涯当中最精彩的表现，其实一定他们的表演都可以带来一些什么。那他们不一定当初在设计这个表演的时候就是刻意的，有时候可能是不小心刚好让他们发现，但是一旦找到了这个秘诀，一旦掌握到这一点之后，他们的表演真的就是会非常的有影响力，会非常的棒。所以像是 Ricciardi 好了，他其实不太会讲话，然后你说他去发明自己的道具，他也不是一个很棒的发明家，可是他在表演方面真的就是非常的厉害，他就是掌握到了一个重点。那虽然他这个人你可能不会想要跟他一起坐下来吃个晚餐，你不会想要跟他一起出去玩，可是他在表演这个部分真的就是无与伦比，是非常非常的厉害。那另外还有像是 Channing Pollock， 这个也是考柏菲先生自己本身认识的一个人，他长得很帅，然后他也是好像就意外的发现了自己在操纵的技巧上面有一些独到之处。那虽然他后面没有一直接续下去，可是在那一刻他的表演是真的非常无与伦比的。
In my career, I looked at all these things were really great, but there were moments. There were really great moments. These guys did 12 minutes that were great, or 20 minutes are great. I've tried really hard and I failed sometimes. Sometimes it's not so good, right? We all, even the greatest director, greatest singer, they have moments that are not that great, but I've done a lot of things that I was proud of because I tried to make it the best possible thing in those areas, and with a great team, we've got Chris Kenner here, Homer, Don Wayne back in the day, all those people that collaborated and just, I worked them really hard, there was a lot of tension, but finally the end results you're very proud of, but it all starts with finding the real reason for it. What's the real reason? What's the real reason to do linking rings? What is the real reason? I couldn't find it. I found a reason for it. It was okay. Lu Chen likes what I did. I think it's okay. It's not one of my best things, but it's pretty good. At least it had a point to it, The magic had to be, the story had to be good. Is it my best thing? No. But it's something I worked hard on that was worthwhile.
好，所以呢，我们在我们的职涯当中，其实可能都会有高低起伏，都会有一些很棒的片刻。有些人可能红个12分钟，有些人红个20分钟。那即便是考柏菲先生，他也不是说好像生涯都一路顺遂，他其实当中也是会有跌倒的时刻，也是会有失败的时刻。可是重点就是在你自己最发光发热的那一些片刻，你是不是可以为自己感到引以为傲？那另外还有就是要有一个很棒的团队，身边一定要有一个很棒的团队在你的周围。所以像是考柏菲先生有 Chris 啊，有 Don Wayne 啊，就是大家聚在一起做出这些非常非常棒的这些表演。那当然说到最后还是像一开始讲的，就是每一个表演的开始或者是之前，你都要先去思考，我透过这个表演我想要达到的目的，我想要它背后的理由是什么。所以像考柏菲先生以前有做过这个4连环，那这个4连环它是一个很棒的表演吗？其实就要看它背后的这一个逻辑，或者是我们当初表演这一个的目的是什么。那考柏菲先生他自己就承认说，确实这个表演它背后的目的是没有很强的，所以虽然说这是一个精彩的表演，但这不是他最厉害的表演。所以重点还是说，你做这个魔术表演，你可能周围会有一些故事去搭配，可是最后你想要达到的目的究竟是什么？
我们刚才回答完第一个问题是
I'm sorry, let me say one other thing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying that what I'm talking about now is the same rules, the same thought process works for my kind of magic and any kind of magic, anything. It works for anything. It works for street magic, close-up magic. It works for parlor magic. It looks for kind of geeky magic with stuff. If you find the point of it, it changes it, and that's the real thing. It's not if somebody's going to do a story about a grandfather and being a kid, David Copperfield stuff. I'll say David Copperfield shit, right? It's not about that. It's about the feeling before it. It's not just making a story about a thing like that. It's about finding the real, what makes me want to do it.
好，所以我们再进一步解释一下，刚刚给的这些建议不是只有大型的舞台魔术才适用，真的是所有最基本的街头魔术或者是近距离魔术，甚至是我们说这种糖果从眼睛跑出来的这些魔术，其实都是可以适用的。那我们说在这个表演的周围加一个故事，不是说随便想说一个阿公一个小孩什么，不是这样子而已，而是真的你为什么想要做这个魔术，你想要带来的感觉是什么？那这对于任何的魔术表演来说都是一体适用的。
Question number 2. Or really, it's really 3. It's really question number 3 because the other one was 2 questions, just so you know.
Yeah, that was a 2-in-1.
Yeah. 问题就是说呢，他这个每天在这个 MGM 剧院里面，在拉斯维加斯MGM 剧院里面每天表演相同的魔术，会不会职业倦怠？然后肯定是会，怎么样去克服这件事情？然后呢，另外一个还有对。他们的问题都是复合式的，你知道吗？一个问题里面其实都有2个问题，还有一个就是说呢，你创作新的魔术的动力是来自于什么地方？就是说你已经到了这种程度之后呢，你为什么还要继续想新的东西？不过这个问题我觉得他刚才已经回答过了，我不确定还要不要再问。
Okay, so the second question, we apologize. It's also kind of like a composite question. We put a lot of questions into the same one. But basically, the first part of the second question is, does performing the same routines or the same acts in the MGM every night, does that ever bore you or tire you? And we could only assume it does at least a little bit. So if so, how do you overcome this? And the second part of that, I think you sort of answered that already during the first question. So the second part is about how you find your motivation to keep creating new shows.
Of course, I do 15 shows a week. Today I did 3 shows. 3 shows. It's midnight here. and I'm here with you because I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm a human being, so of course, some days you're doing the same thing over and over again, of course. But I dissect the show and try little nuances to make them different, and that keeps it alive. I can test new things and look forward to a new moment or a new joke or a new lighting cue. Then it makes it fresh for me. I'm always searching and searching for ways to improve the show, and that's what keeps it fresh.
好，所以确实哦，我这个礼拜就有15场表演，我光今天就有3场，所以现在在拉斯维加斯这里是半夜，可是我还是在线上加入大家，因为我对魔术真的是充满了满满的热情。那确实没有错，我毕竟还是个凡人。所以做同样的事情一直做，真的是会容易感到疲倦，没有错。所以我的应对方式就是在每一场的表演当中，我都可以找到不同的切点，我可以有一些稍微的不一样，哪怕是只是一个片刻，我可以期待有不同的片刻，有一个不同的新的笑话，或者是灯光打下来有不同的效果等等，其实我都可以借由这些一点点小小的微调，来让自己觉得，今天跟之前是不一样的。我可以持续的找到进步的动力。
So, we were working on this new piece in the show. It's a 30-minute piece. Imagine all you ladies and gentlemen out there having a 30-minute piece of magic. It's like, that's a long thing, with an alien, a spaceship and so forth. And for 6 years, I struggled with this thing, 6 years. And I knew it could have a possibility. People hated it. They hated it. They really... online you can have reviews and stuff. They hated it, and but I believed in it. I think, okay, I think I can make this work. I want a death scene in one of the things. Don't do it, David. Don't do this. I believe it. I want to have the death scene in it. I want to have a story like this. It's like, and little by little we worked on it to make it not be bad, and finally it worked. Finally, it's okay. It's good now. Lu Chen came to the show, maybe halfway through the process. And his reaction was, this has changed, this is different, new magic, it's a new thing. He was very encouraging because, he's a little genius, said Lu Chen. He's a little genius. He's really, he's a very smart guy. Not, I'm saying because he complimented me or liked it, but I'm saying this because he got it. You know what I'm saying? You have to get it, and see it, have a, look through the window to see the end result. He saw it. He knew it. It wasn't good and was okay, but he saw it. 3 years later, and now it's good. But, certain people can see stuff. They can, and it's hard to see stuff when people saying, it sucks. It's hard. But you keep going. There's a quote, and it's not my quote. You're only as good as you dare to be bad. You're only as good as you dare to be bad. And I heard that when I was a kid, and I've been bad many times to try to change things.
所以像最近应该说过去6年来，考柏菲先生一直想要去研发或者是去设计出一个30分钟的表演桥段30分钟，然后里面又有外星人又有太空船，所以6年多来一直都是想要把这个表演变得更精进。那其实刚开始的时候可以看到观众的反应并没有很好，而且现在网络上也是大家都可以看得到网络留言评论嘛，那可以看到很多人有很多恶毒的评论，可是考柏菲先生还是非常的相信，他相信这一个表演这个表演是绝对有这个潜力的。那当中还有一个死亡场景，然后有一些故事线，一开始大家都跟他说这个不要加进去啦，这个很怪，可是他还是坚持觉得说我们还是可以把它修得更好。那后来在大概3年前的时候，刘谦老师也来加入我的表演，然后他就是真的有非常独到的这个眼光。那我必须要说刘谦老师真的是一个天才，然后我说他是天才不是只是因为刘谦老师对我很好有鼓励我而已，并不是只是这样而已，而是我觉得刘谦老师他真的非常的眼光也是非常的独到，他就可以透过像是一个小小的窗户一样，可以窥视另外一边我想要表达的概念是什么。所以接下来的3年，我在听了他的一些鼓励，他的一些想法之后，我们就是持续的精进。虽然旁边的人都一直说这个表演很烂很烂，可是我持续的去修到现在，总算我觉得我是相当的满意。那我听过有一句格言，是我从小就听到的，我觉得这句话讲得非常的好，不是我自己说的啦，但这句话是说，你要有多厉害，你就要多愿意让自己出糗，或者是让自己搞砸。所以你要真的很勇敢的去犯错，勇敢的去做这些可能别人不看好的事情，你才可以让自己变得更加的精进。所以这就是我当时一直持续下去的动力。
What were you applauding for, Lu Chen?
For the core.
Oh.
you need to dare to fail to be succeed, something like that, right?
Yeah. No, you're only as good as you dare to be bad. Yeah. It's,
I think that is really very important. I mean, and you need to be very brave, because I think at the backstage of MGM, during the conversation, first of all, I'm so happy you still remember the conversation. And I remember
it meant a lot. Honestly, it meant a lot, because, I was suffering. I knew I was suffering, but somebody that I really, really respect and really understands this stuff goes, no.
And I knew you were suffering, because I can feel how people will say that. I can imagine how people will say and feel that. And I remember I said it's a very big risk, but if you got there, that would be something amazing. It's something what really different, and really, only David Copperfield can do that. But yeah, I know how people will feel and say. I know how magicians feel, and I know how magicians.
It wasn't magicians. It was lay people. People that paying for a ticket had a problem, but I'm still stuck with it. Yeah.
我觉得不用翻译了啦，不要浪费时间。
时间关系
，Okay, we just stop translating for this conversation. People understand, no problem. So the third question, 现在有一点比较麻烦的就是有很多观众在上面留言说想要听我想问的问题。
So a lot of the audience are actually online commenting and saying, get to the questions prepared by Mr. Liu Qian. Forget about the prepared questions. So we're in a bit of a pickle here.
但是我觉得好，我尽量挑选因为7个问题已经回答2个了。我问几个我觉得必须得要问的，我觉得比较重要的，好不好？比如说现在这个网络的魔术啊，就是越来越多，然后现场表演开始有点式微的感觉。然后呢，这个趋势他怎么看？
So I think we have to be more selective about the questions we're going to ask. So I think the next question, we're not going to go in the order that we thought we were going anymore. So the next question is actually about the fact that nowadays there are more and more online videos of magic performances, and the art of live magic seems to be in decline. So what's your take on this trend?
I don't think that's true. I think, I think magic online is great. I think it's great. Does it sell tickets? I don't think it sells tickets right now. In America, I don't think it sells tickets. There's a lot of very famous YouTube magicians and artists and so forth, and they have 1 billion views and all that stuff. And I know for a fact they can't sell a ticket. How is that possible? How is it possible somebody has 1 billion views on YouTube and they struggle to sell a ticket? It doesn't make sense. I'm not sure people are invested on that YouTube thing. Maybe, I'm guessing that people who are, see the different YouTube things, maybe they're not invested enough to reach and see it live. It's not like, I think, I'm not sure about this, okay? But I think that in music, you can have a YouTube presence or a online presence, but it took Justin Bieber to have a movie about it, or have a real tactile thing, or a success in the normal form for him to become not a YouTube person, but a ticket selling person. I think it's a transition, but you have to make that transition. That's what I've noticed. I know from a magician's standpoint, I know for sure people who have gigantic views, who I know, they struggle with having people actually buy a ticket. So I still think it's great. Great magic is great magic, I prefer people not to cheat so much, and but and by cheat I mean, you can use the frame. The frame is fine. I always use the frame of the perceive of this, but to do total camera tricks, probably not my favorite thing. But at the end of the day, they have to care about you enough to buy a ticket or to come to see you live. At the end of the day, magic is a live thing. It is. I don't think it's going to stop being a live thing. Music is a live thing. All the music stars make no money on the YouTube machine. They don't. They make, or even selling albums, they don't make money really. There's live performance where they make their money.
那针对这个问题，其实我不觉得这么说完全正确。确实，现在网络上有很多的表演，而且很多的魔术表演、线上影片都非常的棒。可是你要把这一些表演从观看次数转化成实际的门票，我觉得还是不一样的。至少在美国是如此，因为我知道有很多 YouTube 上面这种线上很厉害的魔术师， 他们的影片可能有几十亿的观看人数，可是他们实际去表演的时候，反而都没有什么人来看。那这怎么会是这样？怎么可能呢？如果他在网络上声量这么大，怎么会是万人响应，然后根本没有人到场？那我觉得可能一点就是因为大家在线上的关注，其实有时候是他可能就是关注，他就是看一下。可是你要愿意在乎一个表演者，在乎到你愿意掏钱去买票，这是完全两回事，这是完全不一样的。那我觉得不仅是魔术界，音乐也是一样啊。我们看网络上也有很多网络歌手，他们可能很红，但是他们没有办法真的办现场的表演。那甚至是像小贾斯汀 Justin Bieber， 他当初也是先从 YouTube 上开始红。可是他在 YouTube 上红了之后，也是必须要从线上转到线下的世界，从一个云端转回到我们实体的世界。他开始办实体的活动，开始拍实体的影片之后，他才开始真的大红大紫，然后开始办演唱会。所以我觉得重点是我们不要说是好像线上就会取代线下，而是说我们要怎么样连接线上跟线下，把它变成是一个过程，怎么样让线上的观看也可以变成是实体的这种门票的收益。那我觉得线上的魔术其实真的很多是非常的棒的。那只是说我觉得有时候有些线上魔术，有些人可以稍微作弊。那所谓的作弊就是利用镜头来做一些小把戏那这个我是比较不那么认同啦。可是整体来说，我觉得线上魔术绝对还是很棒的。但重点是我们要怎么样让线上的观众从只是看看而已，变成是愿意的投入。那我觉得这个真的不管是魔术还是音乐表演也是一样，真正的魔法就是要发生在现场，你必须要身临其境，你要亲临现场才可以感受得到。那我刚刚讲到音乐也是如此嘛，很多现在的这些艺人他们光是在线上发歌，甚至是卖他们的专辑，都不是真正的收入来源。你要真的可以收入，真的大红大紫，还是要透过实体的演唱会，还是要这种真实的可以看得到、摸得到、感觉得到的，这个才是真的有影响。
I'm going to add to that some people have found a formula of getting money from making views on YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Is that sustainable?We'll see. You can make money doing that. But normally it has to have shock value to keep people's attention. It's got to last 3 minutes or whatever the formula is. And people have made money doing that. So that is a profitable thing, which we'll see how long that lasts. Those people selling tickets to a live performance,is a new challenge that I don't think has been figured out yet.
那我还是要再补充一下，当然我的意思也不是说线上的表演就完全赚不了钱，因为确实现在有一些线上，不管是在脸书或是 YouTube 上的表演者，他们也可以透过线上的收益来有收入。但是这一种模式能不能永续下去，这个当然我们还要拭目以待，要持续的观察。而且我发现线上的魔术很多时候它就是必须要一开始就震惊大家，然后必须要在短可能3分钟或几分钟之内就要抓住大家的这个眼球，就要吸引大家的注意力。那就像刚刚讲的，它能不能持续下去，这个我们还要再持续的观察但重点是要怎么样转化成这种实体的，就是至少讲到这些线上的表演者，他们要怎么样在线下也能够成功，我觉得这反而是他们也要面临的一个挑战或者一个课题。
So I believe that there's nothing wrong with the internet, magic on the internet. I've talked about magic in the metaverse. We're working towards metaverse magic and so forth, and I'm very involved in that. How that translates into economically, I haven't figured that out yet, but I think it's very possible to be virtual in that thing and have the same point of view that I have for my live magic, how to achieve that virtually in this layered world of other worlds. I think it's an amazing thing, but it's not going to be a profitable thing for me. My thing is all about live performance, so even though I'm exploring that world and I think it's fascinating and good to spend time in it, as long as it has all the stuff I've talked about in the beginning, all that same stuff. It has to have something that makes you feel something has to make me feel something, them feel something, take them to a journey. Every single format you have, whether it's YouTube, metaverse, all those things, you can't lose the humanity of it. If it has humanity, then it has hope.
那我当然也再补充一下，我的意思不是说线上魔术就不好怎么样，线上魔术也是非常的棒。那我现在甚至我自己也是在探索元宇宙，怎么样透过元宇宙来表演魔术。那至于这个元宇宙的魔术怎么样虚实整合，或者是怎么样带来收益，这个当然也是一样要再观察。可是我觉得确实也是有可能，我们可以把线上或者是元宇宙的魔术尽量的让它趋近于实体的表演。我们还是一样可以想办法达到类似的效果，尤其是现在我们的世界真的是像洋葱一样非常多层次非常多层，我们可能不能只是用单一的方式去表演。可是我觉得说到底还是 呼应到我们第一题讲的，我们的表演背后想要达到的目的是什么？我们想要让自己、让观众有什么样的感受？我们让观众看完会有记得什么？会有什么样的想法？那我们可以透过不同的模式、不同的格式或者不同的媒介来想办法达到这样子的效果。只是对于我自己个人来说，我觉得说到底还是就是像科技始终来自于人性嘛，我们最后还是不要忘记是以人为本。那就我自己本身来讲的话，实体的表演是最容易可以达到这个效果的。
Next question.
We know that pretty much every magician would have the experience of making a mistake or screwing up on stage. So could you share with us very quickly just some of the most memorable experiences of you making a mistake during your act, and how did you resolve it?
Well, it happens a lot. And I'm able to recover mostly pretty good. Today on stage, the alien, there was a loose fitting in the machinery, and the alien kept doing this, so and this, and it's because there was just a screw that was loose. That's it, not a screw loose here, but a screw loose there, and so I'm holding on to him, trying to work out the jokes and how to get through it, and we got through it, but it was not fun. But the audience, I still got all of them. I didn't lose a moment. Not one moment got lost. Me holding on to him and just trying to deal with it. It was crazy. There's all this emotional stuff and I'm holding on to it. So I just found a workaround. Just experience lets you get around that. That's today, literally today. A few days ago, my spaceship appears. I have a spaceship appears. And the spaceship wasn't happy and it kept falling down, and my crew was great. They've learned over many times what to do. And my crew, as the spaceship is starting to fall, they didn't just run to it and fix it. Oh my God, fix it. They slowly, and I was so proud of them, they slowly did this and kind of touched it like this and saved it like a ballet. And backstage, I go, you guys are awesome. You get pizza tomorrow. And so every day there's a little thing that happens. Lu Chen, you have plenty of stories, I'm sure. Translate that first, and I've got more.
那当然犯错这个一定每个人都有啦，所以光是像今天，其实考柏菲老师今天就有发生一些小插曲哦。所以在他的表演当中，我们讲到会有外星人嘛，那这个外星人其实是接在一个机器上，可是他因为螺丝没有锁紧，所以他就会一直倒，那变成表演过程当中，考柏菲老师就是要一直抓着那个外星人，然后很勉强的去撑过去。那虽然过程当中很辛苦，可是观众最后这个观赏的效果还是相当的好，大家反应都还是很棒，那个该有的情绪也都还是有。所以很多时候遇到这种小失误啊、小突锤啊，你就是想办法救回来。那大部分时候都是救得回来的，只要你有经验，都是可以救得回来。那还有像是前几天这个太空船也是突然就掉下来，那这个时候也是你要仰赖你的团队，有时候团队也是可以帮忙。所以像我的团队当时就是表演还是持续的继续哦。那太空船掉下来，他们不是说急急忙忙赶快来救，他把它融入变成像是表演的一部分。这一群人就一边像是在跳芭蕾舞，一边不疾不徐的非常优雅的把这个太空船给救起来。那我当时就说，哇，你们真的是太棒了哦！每个人明天都有披萨可以吃啊！哦，所以呢，我觉得遇到这一些挑战，我相信每一个人都有，刘谦老师也一定会有很多的经验可以分享。那真的就是借由你的经验和你的团队，都可以想办法去把它救回来。
New things, new technology. I love it. It's very, very important to me. I want to do the best levitation possible. Flying, I think, is maybe the best levitation possible. Maybe, death saw might be I tried to make the best sawing in half. I invented a thing called the blade. It's a vertical sawing where the girl gets cut like this. I know there's laymen watching this, people who are not magicians, correct? So I have to be very careful what I say. But this illusion is really, really strong illusion where the girl gets cut like this way, and you see the half pieces like that. It's called the blade, I think, and with the giant blade, and I get on the top of it. And the girl inside, one day, had been drinking the night before, so she was feeling sick. And this particular show, I didn't want to just make it a cutting with a thing like just a blade going through. I wanted to be hooked to a strap, and I get hoisted up, hanging from the blade. I'm standing on top of the illusion. So I look down into this thing where I see the girl that I'm going to cut in half this way. And I descend the blade in. And as soon as I descend the blade, she throws up. And vomit, like lots of Mexican food, is pouring out. of this thing. The audience thinks it's the guts of the girl because I'm cutting her in half, and she throws up like this, and the audience is like cheering. This is the greatest, Copperfield. Oh my God, you're letting the guts show of the girl going like this. And I continue. I finish the illusion with her cut in 2 pieces, put it back together, and there you go. And the problem was the fact that if I smell vomit, I start to want to. I have sensitive stomach, so I was trying to breathe over here and breathe over here to smell the vomit. Anyway, we're all here to tell the story.
But audience feel very good, right? Audience feel amazing. So maybe after the show, you told your assistant do that again.
We're gonna add it to the show.
Every single night.
Go ahead. Here's some beer money and some Mexican food. Translate that.
OK 所以我们知道口伯菲先生也是每一次都想要运用新的技术、新的科技在他的表演当中所以像是刚刚提到外星人太空船的这个表演嘛，我们就是会有不同的漂浮、不同的飞行。那当中还有一个是死亡之锯那它其实称之为 the blade 刀锋。那一般来说，这种把人锯成两半的表演，大家都看多了。可是它这个是不一样，它是从直的这样子切下来，它不是横切。那我知道今天表演，应该说我们线上收看的观众有一些人是麻瓜不是我们的魔术师，所以这个太多细节的内容我就不多说，我只说当初我们要切的这个女生，她是一个我的助理那她在表演的前一天晚上酒喝的有点太多，所以她有点宿醉，一直到表演的当下，她身体都还不是很舒服。所以我们要在锯她的时候，那个时候我们的效果是考伯菲老师他会被吊到很高的地方，然后拿着那个刀锋那个锯子从上往下从头这样切下来。就他这样往下要切下去的时候呢，就在切下去的那一刹那，助理因为真的很不舒服，就开始呕吐，而且是大吐特吐他前一天感觉是吃了一些墨西哥料理，所以就是全部都喷发出来。结果我们这刚好在锯下去的时候，观众反而误以为那些呕吐是他的内脏，还觉得说哇，这个效果也太好了吧，真的太逼真了，所以反而变成说明明是一次失误结果观众的反应是出乎意料的，还要来得更好。所以真的有时候失误，真的你就是不一定失误就是很慌张都会有不同的方法可以救回来，甚至效果还可以更好。但唯一要注意的就是有时候你闻到别人呕吐，可能自己也会想要呕吐嘛。所以像考伯菲先生当时也是一样，所以他就是必须要注意在表演的时候要左顾右盼的去呼吸一些新鲜的空气，不要一直闻到那个呕吐的气味，不然自己也会想要吐。
对，所以我才建议他说让那个助理每天都喝酒。因为效果反应好嘛。
Yeah, that's why Mr. Liu said we recommend the assistant to get heavy drinking every single night so that you can reproduce the same effects every time.
因为时间的关系然后这个主办方私信我说，希望我直接以这个最后2个问题，就是我这边自己准备的问题第一个问题我觉得比较轻松，就是跟朋友私底下聚会的时候，大卫会表演什么小魔术？
Okay, so due to time, we are going to move on to the questions prepared by Mr. Liu's friends. The first one is more relaxed, I guess. So the question is, so Mr. Copperfield, when you are hanging out with your friends, your personal friends, what kind of tricks would you do to entertain your friends?
Zero.
Never?
Never. True, right? Never.
Wow.
No. Never. I really, no. That's not me. Chris Kenner sitting here says, never seen me do a trick that wasn't part of the show or unless we're rehearsing something, which I said, never. Isn't that crazy?
So if people ask you to do some tricks, you will say, go to the theater.
I don't get asked. I don't know why. It's a very weird thing. No, I never get asked to do it. Isn't that weird? That's the truth. Honest truth.
Wow.
所以口伯菲老师从来不会在私人的场合在朋友面前表演任何的魔术那其实他朋友也不会主动要求他去表演。刚刚考伯菲老师他的助理 Chris 也说了Chris Kenner 讲了一模一样的东西，确实从来不会有这样的事情发生。
我觉得他到了这种地位之后，就不会有人这么要求他了。就是说，你如果遇到那个
Lou, what do you do? What do you when people ask you, what do you do?
Yeah, 就是 give me a deck of cards or something like that. 我说到了某种地位之后，我觉得他就不会有人这样要求他。就比如说你遇到 Celine Dion， 你也不会叫他现场来唱首歌嘛。 这种程度，对。
Yeah,
What do
so
you say,
I
Wen?
think it's understandable because once you achieve a certain stature or status or gravitas, people would just stop asking you. So for example, if you run into Celine Dion, you wouldn't say, "Hey, can you sing something?" Yeah,
That's
so
true.
that's understandable.
That's true.
Okay.
You know what I do? I say something. I do meet and greets after the show. I meet them. But now I've been doing things during meet and greets during the show. You know, Max Maven had a really good premise for effect called Pocket Nightmare, which I think was a great premise. Chris Kenner, I helped a little bit, you know, worked out a different method for doing it, achieved the same goal. But the goal, Max's scenario was brilliant thing. And I do that in the hallway, you know, sometimes the meet and greet to make them happy. We do a thing we have a vanishing airplane trick that I do in the hallway for those guests. I've been having fun like that, but in that kind of 10 people there in that setting. But amazing, people don't ask. They say, make my wife disappear, make your food disappear. But besides that, I never get seriously asked, ever.
那补充一下，有时候表演之后会有一些见面会，那在这种见面会的场合，确实是会稍微表演一些小魔术，像有一个叫做口袋噩梦或者是 Pocket Nightmare， 这个其实是 Max 他发展出来的一个表演，但 Chris 有帮我去复制，达到类似的效果，有一点不一样，但是类似的效果，所以我会表演这个魔术来让我的观众稍微看一下。那另外还有就是我在走廊里面也会有一些像是让飞机消失，就是我有一个让飞机消失的一个表演，就是稍微炒热气氛啦。但是在完全私人的场合当中，可能有时候朋友会开玩笑说，你可以把我老婆变不见吗？你可以变什么东西？这种开玩笑的会讲，可是没有真的很认真的叫我去表演过什么。
Next question.
最后一个问题我觉得是有点沉重，然后他可以不想回答不用回答。
So we have one final question. This is a bit heavier, so if you don't want to answer it, it's okay.
在他的事业当中有没有后悔的事情？
So throughout your career, has there been any regrets that you had?
Certain haircuts, certain wardrobe choices, certain girlfriends. Yeah, start with that.
好，后悔过的就是有一些发型啊，有一些服装跟交过一些女友最后悔的就这些。
I wish, the hard part is I'm very hard on myself. And a lot of my friends in entertainment, not just magicians, also make the creative process torturous for themselves. Film directors and so forth. And for me, I call it glorious torture. I've used this before. Creating isn't always the most fun thing in the world. I put myself, it's very hard, very difficult. The end result I like, and it's worth doing. But the only regret, the heavy regret is this, there's certain people that really enjoy it, enjoy the process, not very many that I respect. I think J.J. Abrams has fun doing it. He enjoys it. J.J. Abrams is a film director. He has fun. A lot of very famous people besides him don't have fun. It's not fun. And I'm in that group. I'm in the other group. I don't know. I envy the people that can enjoy it. Okay, all right, let's do. I was in China shooting the Great Wall show. There was a piece I did. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it for 30 years. Where I would a bicycle would get wrecked and an old man and the bicycle and so on. I'm not sure it's any good or not. I don't know. But at the time, when we went there was about 10,000 local people on the street behind the cameras. It was an empty street, but nobody saw this at the time, a production. And there was 10,000 people on trees, just hanging there, just watching us shoot. It was crazy. And the time was ticking, and I was really, my co-director said, why do you have this look on your face? And I said, well, the sun's going to come up. It's a nighttime scene, and we're going to lose our dark. We won't get the shot. We won't finish. And he says, what are you doing? You're living your dream right now, David. You've got a whole crew, you've got 200 people here in China shooting. We've got all these people watching you. You're doing exactly the things you wrote. You should enjoy yourself. He was right, but it didn't help. I was still worried about getting the detail right. So the only regret I have is that I haven't found a way to really have a good time with it. I have a good time on stage. I enjoy on stage. I can relax, but creating new things is a tough process. It's not an easy process. It's a tough process. But I guess you could say that a ballet dancer with all the broken toes and the calluses has the same process, right? Has the same thing. artist that's paying, or writers that paint over the word, the color to put the comma has the same torture. That's unfortunate, but that's true of me. It's not, I don't have fun doing that. I do have fun enjoying the reaction of the people. I do have fun doing this. This is fun. I enjoy trying to share thoughts with people that, maybe like what I do or thought I did a good job. But the process, their regret is, I wish it could be more like J.J. Abrams and find a way to really release all the stress and just do good work, but have a good time. I haven't figured that out.
好，那认真一点回答这个问题哦。其实可能最大的后悔或者是最大的遗憾就是，其实在表演界，不仅是魔术界，很多人都是对自己的自我要求非常的高。那尤其是我们在这个创作的过程当中，有时候基本上就像是在自虐自己，就像在虐待自己，要把自己榨干。所以虽然说在表演，在台上表演的过程是非常的有趣的，可是有时候在准备的过程，我并没有说特别的享受其中。那其实在我们的这种创作圈子里有分两大派的人啊，其实大部分的人都是像我这样不是很享受，那有小一部分的人，像是 JJ 亚伯拉罕 JJ Abrams， 就是之前星战第8集的这个导演，他就是出了名的非常的享受自己的创作过程，那我就很羡慕像他那样子的人。可是像我自己就不是，那我就记得大概30多年前我在之前在中国表演的时候，我不是去表演那个穿越万里长城嘛？那个时候我们也有做另外一系列的拍摄。那当时就是它是一个脚踏车的一个表演。我还记得那个时候我们在拍摄，后面在镜头外有大概1万人真的就是万人空巷，大家就是在那边围观，想要看我表演，甚至有些人还爬到树上。就是想要看我的表演。那时间已经有点快要不够了，那太阳又快要出来，可是我当初的设计是要拍夜景，我需要有这个夜晚的黑暗，所以我就很紧张，然后非常的焦躁。那当时我身边的人就提醒我说，你已经在过着你梦想中的人生了，你来到这一个国家，来到这么多人在看着你的表演，你有一个200人的团队，你到底还有什么好闲的啊？那我当时其实他讲的确实是没有错，可是我当时完全没有办法吸收，我就是没有办法去放下这个紧张，这种几乎是自虐的情绪。所以我觉得就是像我讲的，可能跟很多其他创作人士是一样，很多作家或者是芭蕾舞者，他们可能在台上表演或者在发表的时候，像我今天跟各位在线上这样的分享，我是非常的享受的，我在台上表演也非常的享受。可是在背后我们自己夜深人静，自己在创作的过程当中，我其实压力非常的大，然后没有办法真正的享受。那我觉得这是我自己觉得比较遗憾的地方，我不是那种可以享受创作过程的那种人。
On a positive note, every time I've gotten it right, and it's not every time, but every time I've gotten it right, all that, it's been really worth it. The end result is worth it. It's worth that torture. It really is. The end result is worth it. Not just because of money or because you have to build a nice museum. It is worth it. And all the people that I look up to, the majority of that are built like that. The majority of them are built like that and have had just, when you look at Francis Ford Coppola and you read the stories of how The Godfather was made, it was hell. And Apocalypse Now, it was hell, really hell, And the end result is Apocalypse Now and The Godfather. And most people have that story, and their end result is worth it, I want to do work that'll be remembered like that. We're getting closer, right?
那我还是想要补充一下，虽然说这是我的一个遗憾可是经过了这么多这种创意的过程，创作的过程，虽然非常的自虐，非常的虐待，可是最后产生出来的结果，如果我可以把它做对，当然我不是100%每一次都能够做对，但是我做对的时候，我就会觉得一切都是值得的。那我所谓的值得，不是只是这种财富上面的收入，或者是我打造的这个博物馆不是只是这样而已，而是这整个过程最后你看到达到的效果的时候，你就会觉得一切都值得。那我觉得很多我尊敬的这些伟大的人物，像是Francis Ford Coppola， 他就是《教父》跟《现代启示录》的电影的导演，他也是出了名的，创作的过程就是像地狱一样，非常的难熬。可是你熬过来之后，大家可以看看他的作品，真的就是非常非常的伟大。那我也是希望我可以跟他们一样，就是可以被后世被他们记得，永远的记得。
But to say this, to relate it to all the magicians who are watching this, the reason The Godfather was great, or Apocalypse Now is great, or if I did things that were good, anything that's really masterpiece level is because the creator realized that every single thing is important. Everything's important. The music's important. The way your dress is important. The way you breathe is important. Where the pauses are. Every comma is important. If you're a close-up magician, or a parlor magician, or a street magician, or anything like that, it's the same as me, exact same. Everything's important. And when you watch real masters in those categories, you'll see that. You'll really see that every single thing. It's like that in movies, it's like that in music, it's like that in my kind of magic, like that in every kind of magic. Everything's important. Everything. The feel, when you have an Apple product, the feel of the box is important. When car companies spend millions of dollars on how the door feels to slam the door, the weight of it. It's important. So magic is the same. It's the same as all those things. And that's part of the torture of it all. That's part of what gives you so much stress. But at the end of the day, it's worth it.
那我们创作的过程为什么会压力这么大？其实就是因为我认为每一个伟大的创作，你都是要去仔细的检视每一个细节。所以像是《教父》这部电影为什么这么厉害，是大师级的巨作，就是因为它背后的创作者非常的重视细节。所以像是你在音乐啊，或者是在穿着上面，甚至是每一个演员表演的时候，你的呼吸、你的停顿，作者在写作的时候，每一个逗点要放在哪里，它都是仔细的去思考过的，去斟酌过的。所以我觉得我们看每一个领域的大师都是这样，不是只是魔术表演。那魔术表演当然也是如此，不管你今天是大规模的表演，还是街头的这种1对1的表演，也都是一样。那我们看，就算是科技产品好了，就是苹果啊，或者是车子，对不对？苹果的这种手机的产品也是，你看它的盒子，你买到它的时候，这个盒子感觉的那个触感，还有车子，我知道很多这种汽车制造商他们是花几百万美金在研发，光是看他们的车门关上去的时候的这个感觉是如何，他们都要花钱去研发。所以真的就是你觉得好像看起来不这么重要的细节，其实每一个细节每一个都非常非常的重要。这也是为什么大师级的巨作是这么样的厉害，那这也是为什么创作者在背后会这么的煎熬。So thank you again, Mr. Copperfield, because we actually looked at your schedule and it was full packed. You were so busy and yet you still found the time to, at the middle of the night for you to come online and chat with us. So we really greatly appreciate you.
It's my honor.
It's our pleasure to have you here. Really.
Just so you know that both the magician things are really wonderful. These are great. Lu Chen, all of you are fantastic magicians, performers. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. I love your country. I love your people. I really, really do. And I've been there many times, and the reaction is amazing reaction, and just so smart and so great. And thank you for letting me be here.
最后再收尾，就是其实当然今天也非常的荣幸，可以在线上加入像刘谦老师，还有其他这么棒的魔术师，今天一起共襄盛举，举办这个盛会哦。那其实考柏菲老师也来过台湾非常多次了，他觉得我们台湾是一个非常美丽的国度，然后有非常棒的人民，然后每一次观众对他的反应都非常非常的热烈，所以今天也是非常的荣幸，非常高兴有这样子的机会跟大家一起在线上相会。
好，那我们再次感谢大卫，好，我们一起恭迎他。
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
OK， 那他可以稍作休息。那我们也感谢我们的刘谦老师跟我们的翻译 Tony。好，那谢谢他们。我们这个世纪对谈环节就到这边告一段落。